Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining Srimad Bhagavatam Sangha and Chapa later on. We'll make a start. And we have been talking about Indra, Vritrasur, and everything that's been happening. There's so much been happening. Indra has killed his spiritual master. He has killed a Brahman. And he's after uplands, like so much going on. Now, when you commit offenses in the material world, you might escape with a good lawyer, a strong lawyer who's very clever, he can fool the jury like that. But in the court of God, you might escape in the court of law, but in the court of God, nobody can escape. It doesn't matter who you are, you cannot escape the offenses. You have to give responsibility for what you have done. And Indra, he was afraid before killing Vritrasur because he realized a devotee, but something he had to do, but still have to pay the consequences. So let's continue. So Shri Shukadev Goswami said, O King Parikshit, who are so charitable disposed, when Vritrasur was killed, all the presiding deities and everyone else in the three planetary systems were immediately pleased and free from trouble, everyone that is except Indra, because they might be all pleased, but it's Indra who has to pay the price. Thereafter, the demigods, the great saintly persons, the inhabitants of Pitralok and Bhutalok, the demons, the followers of the demigods, and also Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and the demigods, subordinate to Indra, all returned to their respective homes. While departing, however, no one spoke to Indra. And Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other demigods returned to their respective abodes. But Indra did not, for he was disturbed at having killed Vritrasur, who was actually a Brahman. And after killing Vritrasur, Indra went to the Manasa Srovar lake to become free from sinful reactions. When he left the lake, he performed an Ashwamedha Yajna and then returned to his own abode. So let's pray. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mukham Kroti Vachalam Pangum Yam Langyate Garim. Yad Kripa Tamham Vande Shri Guru Din Taranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tassat. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narotamam Devim Sasvidasam. Tato Jam Uduriyat. Nashta Preshavabdreshu Nityam Bhagavad Sevya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhakti Nestikir. Hare Krishna. So Maharaj Parikshit inquired from Shukadeva Goswami, O great sage, what was the reason for Indra's unhappiness? I wish to hear about this. When he killed Vritrasur, all the demigods were extremely happy. Why then was Indra himself unhappy? This, of course, is a very intelligent question. When a demon is killed, certainly all the demigods are happy. In this case, however, when all the demigods were happy because of Vritrasur having been killed, Indra was unhappy. Why? It may be suggested that Indra was unhappy because he knew that he had killed a great devotee and Brahman. Vritrasur outwardly appeared to be a demon, but inwardly he was a great devotee and therefore a great Brahman. So Brahman is someone that doesn't necessarily have to be by caste. Brahman is someone who knows about Brahman, or about God, who has knowledge of God, is a Brahman. Sri Shukdev Goswami answered, when all the great sages and demigods were disturbed by the extraordinary power of Vritrasur, they had assembled to ask Indra to kill him. Indra, however, being afraid of killing a Brahman, declined their request. King Indra replied, when I killed Vishwarup, I received extensive sinful reactions, but I was favored by the women, land, trees, and water. So he divided the sinful reactions between these four categories of entities. And therefore, I was able to divide the sin among them. But now, if I kill Vritasur, another Brahman, how shall I free myself from the sinful reaction? So he had used up all the escape routes that he had applied before. Now he's saying, what do I do this time? Who do I distribute this sinful reactions to now? I've already distributed to the women, the land, trees, and water. I've already distributed these things, my sinful reactions. What now? Who else can I distribute to this? No one else left. Sri Shukdev Goswami said, hearing this, the great sage replied to King Indra, O King of Heaven, all good fortune unto you. Do not fear, we shall perform an Ashwamedha sacrifice to release you from any sin you may accrue by killing the Brahman. The Rishi continued, O King Indra, by performing an Ashwamedha sacrifice and thereby pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the super soul, Lord Narayan, the Supreme Controller, one can be relieved of the sinful reactions for killing the entire world, not to speak of killing a demon like Vritasur. One who has killed a Brahman, one who has killed a cow, or one who has killed his father, mother, or spiritual master can be immediately freed from all sinful reactions simply by chanting the holy name of Lord Narayan. Other sinful persons, such as dog eaters and chandalas, who are less than Shudras, can also be freed in this way. But you are a devotee, and we shall help you by performing the great horse sacrifice. If you please Lord Narayan in that way, why should you be afraid? You'll be freed even if you kill the entire universe. Herein, the sages encourage King Indra to kill Vritasur, even at the risk of Brahmhatya, the killing of a Brahman, and they guarantee to release him from sinful reactions by performing an Ashwamedha Yajna. Such purposefully devised atonement, however, cannot relieve the performer of sinful acts. This will be seen from the following verses. Yeah, so like our the 10 offenses, 7th offenses to commit sinful activities, and in the name of the holy, in the name of the Maha Mantra, you can't purposefully do something sinful that the holy name will save you. So to commit sinful activities in the strength of the holy name, that's the right wording. So we cannot do that. Following the advice of the demigods. Okay. Yeah. So Shri Shukdev Goswami said, encouraged by the words of the sages, Indra killed Vritasur. And when he was killed, the sinful reactions for killing a Brahmanatya certainly took shelter of Indra. After killing Vritasur, Indra could not surpass the Brahmhatya, the sinful reactions for killing a Brahman. Formerly, he had killed a Brahman Vishwarup out of circumstantial anger. So he was angry at that time because Vishwarup was doing yajna for the demons as well. So, it was like, that's like manslaughter, basically. But this was murder. Before he had killed one Brahman Vishwarup out of circumstantial anger. But this time, following the advice of the sages, he killed another Brahman purposely. It was planned. So even in the court of law, there's something of manslaughter when you kill someone when you're angry, and there's murder when you plan to do something. So it's like murder. Therefore, the sinful reaction was greater than before. Indra could not be relieved from the reaction simply by performing sacrifices for atonement. So it's surprising that the sages didn't know this. He had to undergo a severe series of sinful reactions When he was freed by such suffering, the Brahmanas allowed him to perform the whole sacrifice, the planned execution of sinful deeds on the strength of the chanting of the name of the Lord or undergoing prashtita, atonement, cannot give relief to anyone, even to Indra or Nahusha. Nahusha was officiating for Indra, while Indra, absent from heaven, was going here and there to gain release from his sinful reactions. Following the advice of the demigods, Indra killed Vritasur, and he suffered because of this sinful killing. Although the other demigods were happy, he could not derive happiness from the killing of Vritasur. Indra's other good qualities, such as tolerance and opulence, could not help him in his grief. So, although he had got his kingdom back, he got all the opulence, but it was no good. In this case, he still had to suffer. One cannot be happy by committing sinful acts, even if one is endowed with material opulence. That's the key here. Indra found this to be true. People began to blaspheme him, saying, "This person has killed a Brahman for the sake of enjoying heavenly material happiness." Therefore, in spite of being king of heaven, enjoying material opulence, Indra was always unhappy because of the accusations of the populace. So he's got reactions, he's got the public turning against him. But at the time, he thought he was doing the right thing. And the demigods said doing the right thing. The sages said you're doing the right thing. Even Lord Narayan helped him with the kavach to kill Vritrasur. So it seems that Vritrasur was right, that all this was happening really on benefit of Vritrasur, not of Indra. Because Indra, although he has won, but in a way he has lost because he's suffering so much. And Vritrasur is happy because he's gone back to Godhead. So looks like Narayan was on side of Vritrasur after all. So Indra saw personified sinful reaction chasing him, appearing like a Chandal woman, a woman of the lowest class. She seemed very old, and all the limbs of her body trembled because she was afflicted with TB or tuberculosis. Her body and garments were covered with blood, breathing an unbearable fishy odor that polluted the entire street. She called to Indra, "Wait, wait. O King Indra, first fled to the sky, but there also he saw the woman of personified sin chasing him. This witch followed him wherever he went. At last, he very quickly went to the northeast and entered the Mansasrovar lake. So there's the sanctuary where he is trying to escape. Always thinking of how he could be relieved from the sinful reaction for killing a Brahman, King Indra, invisible to everyone, lived in the lake for 1,000 years in the subtle fibers of the stem of a lotus. So he had the power to become invisible, and he hid inside stem of a lotus. The fire god used to bring him his share of all the yajnas, but because the fire god was afraid to enter the water, Indra was practically starving. As long as King Indra lived in the water, wrapped in the stem of the lotus, Nahusha was equipped with the ability to rule the heavenly kingdom due to his knowledge, austerity, and mystic power. Nahusha, however, blinded and maddened by power and opulence, made undesirable proposal to Indra's wife with the desire to enjoy her. Thus, Nahusha was cursed by Brahman and later became a snake. So there's so you can see the demigods that they're not far off from us. We have shorter lifespans. They have bigger lifespans because of where they live, and their bodies are a little bit more subtle than ours. Because as you go into the higher planets, the body becomes more and more subtle. So they have more power than us. But as far as the mind and the intelligence is concerned, then really not much. And the ego, their subtle bodies are not not much better than ours. O king, when Lord Indra reached the heavenly planets, the saintly Brahmins approached him and properly initiated him into a horse sacrifice meant to please the Supreme Lord. The horse sacrifice performed by the saintly Brahmins relieved Indra of the reactions to all his sins because he worshipped the Supreme Personality Godhead in that sacrifice. O king, although he had committed a gravely sinful act, it was nullified at once by that sacrifice, just as fog is vanquished by the brilliant sunrise. So I'm just going to read that again. The horse sacrifice performed by the saintly Brahmins relieved Indra of the reactions to all his sins because he worshipped the Supreme Personality Godhead in that sacrifice. O king, although he had committed a gravely sinful act, it was nullified at once by that sacrifice, just as fog is vanquished by the brilliant sunrise. So King Indra was favored by Marichi and the other great sages. They performed the sacrifice just according to the rules and regulations, worshipping the Supreme Personality Godhead, the Super Soul, the original person. Thus, Indra regained his exalted position and was again honored by everyone. So there was a lot of suffering, a lot of atonement, but eventually he managed to get back his honor and his position. Because after all, he did it for not just for himself, for the benefit of the demigods and everybody else. Because you cannot have, okay, Vritasu was a devotee, but there's others with him who were not devotees. You cannot have demons running heavens, right? In this very great narrative, there's a glorification of the Supreme Personality Godhead, Narayan. There are statements about the exaltedness of devotional service. There are descriptions of devotees like Indra and Vritasur, and there are statements about King Indra's release from sinful life and about his victory in fighting the demons. By understanding this incident, one is relieved of all sinful reactions. Therefore, the learned are always advised to read this narration. If one does so, one will become expert in the activities of the senses. His opulence will increase and his reputation will become widespread. One will also be relieved of all sinful reactions. He will conquer all his enemies and the duration of his life will increase because this narration is auspicious in all respects. Learned scholars regularly hear and repeat it on every festival day. So I'm just going to read this last verse again. He's saying by discussing this, by reading this, how many benefits there are. Because Bhagavatam is the ripened fruit. You can taste it again and again. And whatever we read in there is for our benefit. And it has subtle benefits as well. As explained here, there's so many benefits. So in this very great narrative, there's the glorification of the Supreme Personality Godhead. So that is one thing we have to do is glorify the Lord Narayan. There are statements about the exaltedness of devotional service. So we should glorify that. There are descriptions of devotees like Indra and Vritasur. So we should glorify that. And there are statements about King Indra's release from sinful life and about his victory in fighting the demons. So by understanding this incident, one is relieved of all sinful reactions. Therefore, the learned are always advised to read this narration. If one does so, one will become expert in the activities of the senses, his opulence will increase, and his reputation will become widespread. One will also be relieved of all sinful reactions. He will conquer all his enemies, and the duration of his life will increase. Because this narration is auspicious in all respects, learned scholars regularly hear and repeat it on every festival day. So many benefits just by reading this. So I think we are all fortunate that we're going through this and getting so much benefit just by discussing Srimad Bhagavatam. There are so many benefits, and it's mentioned here that just by hearing and narrating, you can get so much benefit. So thank you also so much for joining. My father-in-law has been hearing as well, so that's nice. Hey Mataji, Mother Sham Sundar Prabhu, Pundikaksh Prabhu, Nan Priya Mataji. I don't know if you're there. Oh, and Kanishka Mataji, I think she was there as well. And Sarveshi Mataji. Hare Krishna, everyone. So thank you for joining. So we'll okay, thank you. Yeah, I was glad. I said family's listening. That's nice,
Their school.
Yeah. Yeah, I think school runs have started now. So, Sarvesha Mataji, would you like to add anything?
Hare Krishna, everybody. Very nice. I mean, all the topics in Bhagavatam is very, very auspicious to hear and interesting. And everything in this world, what happens, it happens according to the desire of Krishna. Whatever Krishna desires, it happens. What we desire, it never happens. Krishna's desire is that everybody should be liberated and go back to Godhead, because this is not a very nice place. It's Dukhalaya, Ashashvatam, he says in Bhagavad-Gita. But our desire is to enjoy, and that one out in Indra and even the demigod in other planets, they like to enjoy as well. And Krishna is control of everything, but we like to be controllers. When we control, we like to be controllers. That's how we suffer. We suffer, and it's nothing but the suffering. And it was Krishna's desire that Vritrasur to be killed by Indra and go back to Godhead and to be relieved by the curse of being demon. That was the desire of Krishna. He wanted Vritrasur to be killed by Indra. So he did all the Krishna's plan. Indra did not want to kill Vritrasura, but he was encouraged and influenced by the other demigods. They said, come on, Indra, do it, you're gonna do the Ashwamedha, then you'll be relieved from sin. But but inside he didn't want to know he was committing sin by killing the Brahmana and the Vaishnava. But the circumstances was that he couldn't help killing. He was thinking of his kingdom, and if he doesn't kill him, he's gonna kill all the demigods. And he lamented after killing Visura because he killed Brahmana and Vaishnava. Because Vaishnava's position is much higher than Brahmana's. But after killing them, the holy name of the Lord is so powerful that one gets free from all committing sins. So after killing, and I mean, he suffered. He suffered. He had all like tuberculosis and thing, but he took shelter in the Saror, and he was Lakshmi Devi. He was protected by Lakshmi Devi. And Indra meditated for 1,000 years to get free from sinful reaction, which he committed at the feet of a Brahmana and Vaishnava. So after it's committing sin, you have to do prashchit and take holy name of the Lord, because the name of the holy name of the Lord is very, very powerful. And that's how Indra was again. He got his kingdom and everything. And then Britasur he went back to Godhead as well. So both were better. Both of them, they had success. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thanks so much. Yeah, and we discussed before that this is the beauty of devotion service, of chanting, that all the even though he was doing prashchit, then he will still do more sins later on. That's I think it's part of his job. description as well. And these things happen. And but like with devotional service, with chanting, are we not only getting rid of our sinful reactions that we have accumulated throughout so many lives, but at the same time, we are those those seeds of sinful desires. We are also burning them, so we don't want to commit any more sins. Because by atonement, you can do praschit of your previous sins, but the seeds of desire of committing sins do not disappear. Just like an alcoholic, he can go to the hospital and they can, or rehab, they can clean him up, from inside, sort him out, and fix him, send him back home. But the desire to drink alcohol will still be there, and just something happens, there's a trigger happens, and he will back, drinking again. Same with people taking drugs. Just take some kind of trigger incident, the back drinking. Smokers will smoke. Because the seeds of that desire are still inside. So the beauty of devotional service is that is burning those sins and the seeds with it as well. So thank you so much, Mataji. Pundikaksh Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. I feel like this chapter is exclusively for me. Very nice, very nice. And in Canto 1, Chapter 9, Prabhupada mentioned that don't worry about the chronology of the past times, but understand the essence of the past times. Just try to understand the essence, not to worry about when this happened, how this happened, when. So this pastime is giving us so many lessons. And in the summary, Prabhupada mentioned that the nature of a great quality of a personality is um, he always ashamed and regretful if he acquires it illegally. So Indra got the position back, but he know that he did not acquire this position in a legal way, and he seek the blessings of so many, and he got the bones of Dadiji, and he has to kill somebody again actually to get that bones as well to kill him. So he's not happy because he understands that he has not done any right thing, and he has killed another Brahmana again. I was thinking of this Valmiki Muni when Mugari was there and he was killing the animals in a very weird way. Narad Muni asked him, "For whom you are doing this, and do you think that those people for whom you are doing, will they be ready to share your sinful reactions?" And when he went and asked his mother, daughters, his son, nobody was ready to take any sinful reactions, but they are okay to take the output of whatever act he was doing it. So sinful reactions will not leave you wherever you hide, even inside the lake or anywhere. As you in the beginning, you mentioned that the sinful activities, but when you do it, it's not going to leave you. Like it will follow you wherever you are, in whatever body you are. You have to face the circumstances of your sinful reactions. And so many people in this world who do not believe in the Lord, they continue doing sinful activities, and definitely they'll repent for that in their next lifetime. Um, so Nahusha, I heard this pastime before about Nahusha. Like he was a nice devotee, and he was requested by the demigods to become Indra for this lifetime. But till that time he was okay. But as soon as he became Indra, he got his bad things in him again. So whatever state you are, it's very easy to fall down here. When especially when you are having so many opulences, it's very easy to fall down. So that is one lesson, Prabhuji. Um, and the chanting for this lifetime, we have only one sacrifice, which is chanting. And as you mentioned, chanting is we should not commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. But chanting, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, we chant in a very humble state and as a servant of the Lord, not as not that as a ritualistic activity. So definitely it will purify us because we understand that we are the servitors of the Lord all the time, and we have to worship the devotees as well at the same time. That keeps you humble. That's why chanting will purify because we are trying to understand our position also. That's what Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Wow, thank you. Very nice points. Absolutely. And I like that example of the hunter. Yeah, absolutely. This is the thing, everybody was saying, oh, kill Bindusar, but nobody would be willing to share the sinful reactions. And they're happy to share in the opulence, but not share in the bad times. Yeah, that's the thing. But yeah, and you're right about Indra's position, Nahusha. Yeah, I think is something with that with the executive seat. It just triggers so much arrogance and selfishness sometimes. And because they suddenly become so big that these things that trigger off that they couldn't imagine that were inside them. And it used to see in material life as well, people when they are given a position, their attitude just changes, like that. See them everywhere. That they become like totally different. People think, oh, this person was so nice, he's so polite, so respectful. What's happened to this person? It's just that as soon as they're given some authority or position, it's automatically triggered off something, and they start misusing their position, I think. And so what to say about position of being the king of the demigods? I think it's just natural. So, but you can see they are very similar. The demigods have similar habits to us, right? Only the Lord, he has control over material energy. Us or the demigods, we don't have. The material energy is stronger than all of us put together. Thank you so much. Hina Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Please accept my whole obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Um, Everybody has made some very nice points already. So I think this pastime just glorifies, the power of the holy name, the power of worshipping Krishna, Lord Vishnu, and how the holy name has the power to free one from a multitude of sins, very severe sins, killing a Brahmana or killing one's parents. Um, and it shows in this pattern as well that no amount of sin will ever make anyone happy. There's just constant reactions, and that only the Lord can release one and to nullify those sins. And I'm just thinking how glorious it is as well that just by reciting this pastime, one can be relieved of all sinful reactions themselves as well. So again, it's just testament to the power of Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, thank you very much, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Yes, absolutely right.
Apologies, I do need to drop off, but thank you so much. Thank you for everyone's association.
Thank you, Mataji. Very well.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, everyone. This pastime of Vritrasur is so brilliant, so brilliant. It's just like when we hear Ramayana, we hear about Ravan as well. And hearing Ravan also brings us so much enlightenment, and especially how he was in the end, vanquished by the Lord himself. So similarly, in this pastime, Vritrasur, though in a demon's body, he did all the wonderful things. He did the bhakti. He did the bhakti in the topmost fashion or topmost style, we can say. And how Swarg is not the ultimate destination we should aspire for. We should aspire for the Golok Vrindavan, where we can reunite with the Lord, where we can serve the Lord. So this pastime is the best example that Swarg is not our destination, but in the material life, people just want comfort, enjoyment. And what does enjoyment brings? If you eat too much, you get sick. If you enjoy too much, you lose the sleep. But people still don't learn. They still, want to be in that cycle, just like a hamster. He will keep going round and round in circles on the Ferris wheel, and still not get tired. And once he gets tired, if your children have hamster in the home, you must have seen that. Then it just hides in a corner, sitting down. Similarly, human beings are just trapped in this vicious cycle. They want to become billionaires, trillionaires, zillionaires. What for? Stomach is only the size of the fist. That's that much you can eat, and how much you can enjoy until you get tired, until you want to retire to bed. So also the position of Nahusha tells us that we have to be very careful what we want to agree to do. Nahusha could have disagreed with the demigods if he wanted. If Vritrasur could use his conviction and his intelligence, why didn't Nahusha use it? So we have to be very careful when we are given some power or position. We shouldn't just accept it willy-nilly that, yeah, I'm going to get so much name and fame, so let's grab it. So anything you're going to accept in life, there's always consequence to it. So this pastime clearly tells us, and finally the Falshruti of every prayer, every pastime is so important. So the prayers of Vritrasur, I'd shared earlier also, there's a nice recording by, Punrikaksh Goswami from Vrindavan. It's only 2 minutes long. It's so beautiful. Just hear it once. And why just on festivals? Because we are really trapped into Maya, all of us. So we should hear it every day. I know Sarvashri Mataji, she hears every day. And not she recites every day, she was telling. So of course, and finally, Srimad Bhagavatam is the ripened fruit. Srimad Bhagavad-Gita is where we start to hear from Krishna about the inquiries of Arjun, his answers. And finally, the Srimad Bhagavatam is the ripened fruit where we get the glories of the exalted devotees as the likes of Vritrasur. So I would really like to thank Krishna that he has given us all of us this opportunity in this lifetime that we can do a little Sangha in our capacity and hear and discuss these glorious pastimes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Yes, very nice realizations. Yes, our destination is not heavens. That's very important. We got a higher taste. We need to strive for that because heavens is just another better material world. That's what it is. We're still in the same realm. We're not material. We need to get out of the material realm. Thank you so much. If you have time, let's do some rounds. Sureshi Mataji, then Pundrikaksh Prabhu. One each, please.